Now let us look at this question, that the equation of a tangent to the curve y equals to x cubed plus px cubed plus q at point -1, -2 is 4x plus 2y minus 1 equals to 0, where p and q are constant. Find the value of p and q. Now, to give you a better illustration of this, let's assume that this is a curve and this is a tangent. Okay, all right, so they meet here. Now here is the curve, which is y equals x cubed plus px cubed now plus q, and here is the tangent, line to the tangent, which is 4x plus 2y minus 1 equals what? 0. Okay, now for them to have met here, it implies that the slope of the curve, let us assume it is the slope of the curve is equals to the slope of the tangent. Okay, so let us assume that this is just m1 equals to what? M2. Okay, now first of all, let us find the slope of the curve, and by finding the slope of the curve, it means we have to differentiate it. So which implies, now let us take note that according to the differentiation, if you have a function like this, now differentiating y with respect to x, you have now dy dx will give us nx with the power of n minus 1. Okay, all right, so to that, dy dx of this curve now will now be 3x raised to the power of 3 minus 1, then plus 3px raised to the power of 3 minus 1. Now since q is a constant here without x, it means it becomes what? 0. So at this point now we have that dy dx then equals 3x, okay, there's power 2 plus 3p raised to the power of what? 2. Okay, now and take note, I said that the gradient of this curve will be equals to the gradient of the slope of the tangent. And take note that at this point is -1 and -2, which means this is x and this is what? Y. Okay, now which it means since m1 equals to m2, so you can say that here the m equals to what? 3. Now plugging in the value of x here, you have -1 raised to the power of 2 plus 3p -1 raised to the power of 2. So this will now be m equals to 3, because -1 raised to the power of 2 is 1, then plus 3p. Okay, now take note, as I said earlier, that the gradient of the curve is also the same as the gradient of the tangent. Now let us now evaluate that of let us find the gradient or the slope of the tangent. Now let us take note that for a straight line, that y equals to what? Mx plus what? C, where m here is the gradient or the slope of a straight line. Now let us now make this equation similar to this equation by making y the subject of formula. So it implies here that 4x plus 2y minus 1 equals 0, right? Now let us add 1 to both sides, so it becomes 4x plus 2y equals 1. Okay, now let us subtract 4x from both sides, so it implies here we have that 2y equals 1 minus 4x. Now dividing both sides by 2, we end up having that y equals to 1 all over 2 minus 2x. Okay, so to this end, we can rearrange this by saying y equals minus 2x then plus 1 all over 2. All right, now you can now see that from here, the equation of the tangent, that its gradient or slope is what? -2, and I said initially that the slope of the curve and the tangent is what? The same. So it means we can plug in the value of 2 for m here. So we have negative 2 equals 3 plus 3p. Now let us take 3 to the left hand side. So that will give you negative 2 negative 3 equals 3p. So here we have negative 3 equals, negative 5 equals 3p. Dividing both sides by 3. So here we have that p equals to negative 5 all over 3. Okay. Now, so to this point now, let us now find the value of q. Now that we've gotten the value of p, now we'll now come back to this curve that y equals x cubed then plus p x cubed plus q. Now take note that this is the point to which this curve and the tangent meet, and here is our x and here is our what, y. So from this function here now, our y is negative 2 equals our x here is negative 1 raised to the power of 3, then plus our p here is negative 5 all over 3, then into negative 1 raised to the power of 3, then plus what, q. Okay, now let us take note that negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 1. Now negative 1 times negative 1 give us what, 1, then times negative 1 which will give us what, negative 1. So that implies that negative 1 raised to the power of 3 is negative 1. So here we have negative 2 equals negative 1. Then here also it will be negative 1. Now this negative 1 times negative here give us plus. So here you have plus 5 all over 3, then plus what, q. Now let us multiply 3 to both sides of the equation, and this is just to eliminate this 3 here. So here you have that 3 times negative 2 then equals 3 times negative 1 then plus 3 times 5 all over 3 then plus 3 times q. Okay, so we end up having here negative 6 then equals negative 3. Okay, then e plus, now this 3 we eliminate this 3, we are left with 5 then plus 3q. Okay, so now negative 3 plus 5 will give us 2. We have 6 equals to negative, sorry, will give us 2 rather, not negative 2, then plus 3q. Now to this end, now let us subtract both sides, 2 from both sides. So we end up having, this is negative 8 then equals 3q. Okay, because 2 minus 2 will give us 0. Now divide both sides by 3. So our q will now be negative 8 all over 3. Final answer. If you love what I've just done, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel and ensure you click on the notification button to be notified of all my videos in physics and mathematics. Thank you and God bless you.